Hey everybody, it's Sylvia Seabolt and my mom Gail Dunn. Say hi.
Hi.
And we're going to be joining you today, and we're going to talk about doing real estate together for the past 20 years. So we're going to start out and make sure we both get on camera. We're going to start out and we're going to talk about how and why we chose real estate. So Mom, how and why did you choose?
I was a paralegal and making money for the attorneys and decided I really wanted to get into real estate. So I took classes, and this is something I determine how much I make or don't make. So that was my reason.
And right about the same time, I kind of didn't make the same decision. I was, hi everybody, we see you saying hello. I was in high school and I was on drill team and decided I was kind of tired of all of that politics and everything with drill team and figured I didn't need many high school credit. So I started working in a real estate office answering phones. I actually hated realtors. You were so mean to me back then, and now look where I am now. So, what do you want to talk about, Mom? Be nice, everybody. It's her very first live video, and she's nervous. So, let's just talk about, and let's get into some fun stuff. So, what's your funniest or strangest real estate story, Mom?
I'm very naive, and I will be the first to admit it, that I was showing this couple, and there were several pats and things along the way, and they kept asking me to go, and it wasn't me and the guy that I was seeing, it was just me. And then all of a sudden they wanted me to go away with him overnight for a deal, and they're both on the telephone, and he says it's perfectly okay, and I'm thinking, but not with me. So I really think that they were swingers because of the places they wanted to go, and just us get off and then she would join us later. And I was totally shocked when I put it all together because that was just out of my scope.
So you were propositioned by your clients.
Pretty much.
And that was actually not that long ago, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago maybe?
Mm-hmm.
And they still contact you, right?
Well, I don't answer.
I hope they're not watching.
Me too.
Okay, so my funniest or strangest real estate story. I can't think. They're all funny and strange.
What about the one with the porn out?
Oh yes. I had a great story one time. I had the most devout Christian family, and it was not only them that were coming to look at property. I was also having the mother and father-in-law with us. And so this was one time. Sellers, always leave your house, please. Sellers stayed in the house, and they were in the living room. So as we tour the house and we walk into the master bedroom, they have their Polaroid pictures. Yeah, it was Polaroid. Pictures of some pornographic things on the master bathroom counter. So of course all these people saw that, and I'm there processing, how are we going to get through this house and get out without them saying anything? So we met them in the living room, and then the sellers proceeded to want to talk to the buyers, which was not perceived well. And so it was quite an interesting scenario to try and go through. And unfortunately, they probably would have bought that house because it was perfect for them, but they couldn't get past the whole scenario and the uncomfortableness of seeing their pornographic pictures. So, yep, that was a funny story. Okay, what about volunteering? Do you have a funny volunteering story?
I do. At one of the state meetings down in Austin, we were doing a skit, and we were aliens. And so we had tights on, we had green painted faces, wigs on that were yellow and purple and green, and this whole thing that built up our shoulders. And we did our skit, but we didn't have a key. So here we are. Belinda and I go back over to the front desk, and we tried to convince them who we were, and we belonged in that room. The whole time, the group we were with were sitting out there watching us, but we did not know, and we did finally get in the room, but with their help. But it's amazing the things that we do promoting Women's Council and the relationships that we form.
Absolutely. My funniest volunteering story. I'm drawing a blank. There's
the border.
Oh, yes. When I was Texas governor, and I had been to Brownsville at that point, and I was visiting it was a chapter then, so I was visiting the local chapter, and the president was showing me around, and I had actually, I believe I crossed the border when I was about 7 one time. I believe my dad took me across the border. I don't really recall that. But so I was so excited that I was going to see the border. So here I am trying to take pictures. I wanted to bring them home and show my kids and all of that, as we then start getting, chased down by Border Patrol, because apparently it's illegal to take pictures of the United States border. I did not understand that, because I knew that you absolutely could go on Google Earth and see the same thing I was taking pictures of. But Border Patrol did not think it was very funny. I didn't either. It was actually pretty scary, but now it's very funny story. So feel free, everyone, to jump in, ask us questions. I know there's a little bit of a time delay, but we're happy to answer any of your questions about real estate or volunteering, Women's Council, anything you want. We're just here to help you out. So until we start getting more questions, we're going to keep going through some things that people have thrown at me and wanted to know. So, Mom, what's it like working with me?
Truthfully?
Be honest, unless you're going to be mean.
No, it has been great. I'm very particular about my files. I want them a certain way. And that has helped us both, because when Sylvia is out of town or I'm out of town, we pick up for the other one and we show and do whatever we need to. And that has been a big help, because we do it alike. There are a lot of differences, though. I'm from a different generation, of course, and I'm more the nurturing type with my clients. I have a whole lot of kids out there, in other words. But Sylvia is the techie one, and the best thing we ever did was get Lisa. Lisa takes care of us staying in contact with our clients, and she took over all the computer database and all of that. She also produces all kinds of reports that I didn't even think about doing. And we know exactly when we passed last year, where we're at constantly. She has it updated for us. And so it's really been good. You do pick your battles, but we haven't had that many battles to pick, so it's worked out well.
Yes. So for me, working with her, we're very opposite. Like she said, that she's the nurturer. She's absolutely nurturing. I don't know how she deals with some of the buyers she deals with. I'm more of the education. I'm going to teach you the process and teach you what it means, but I don't have a lot of that nurturing. I do nurture them, but not to the extent she does. And I'm seeing the comment, yes, absolutely, she has lots of kids, including Kristen and Sheila. She has so many kids, and Amy. I see you down there too, Amy. Right. She has so many kids, not only just in, our clients that she's dealt with, but in Women's Council. She's been a mentor to myself as well as so many others. So she has a whole slew of kids that she actually didn't have to raise, which is probably even better, because I can't imagine I was probably the best kid around. I do see we have a question up there. Let me see if I can scroll back up to it. How has working together affected your relationship as a mother and daughter? Oh, I have my answer, but I want to hear yours. What do you think?
We've always been close. We did a lot of crafts together and a lot of things. And so we kind of play off of each other so much of the time. We get each other in trouble when we volunteer, because if she's with PTA working, then I'm also working with PTA. And my habitat stuff was the same way. I would come up with something I wanted to do, and, well, we need to do this. And so it's really drawn us in a lot of ways, I think, closer together.
I absolutely agree. This whole year, as I've been running for National Treasurer, we were just joking before we went live that she's running for National Treasurer too, because it's not just me; it's our whole business, it's our company, and
So, family.
The whole family, honestly. She mentioned Lisa earlier. Lisa's my sister-in-law, and we took her, when did we hire her? About a year and a half ago? Mm-hmm. About a year and a half ago, she started working with us, and she's doing all of our admin, and it has been the best blessing for us. If you ever wonder, are you ready to hire an admin? You are beyond ready. I think it's probably the first hire that's the hardest to do. We lucked out because we had the perfect person within the family. We're just a small family business, and we'll be bringing on a new agent hopefully sometime soon, which will be Chase. He's over in the corner hiding, dancing, which is my son. So we will still keep this all in the family, which has made us a lot closer. It does. You would think that it might put a little bit of strain on that relationship, but I think it does make it better. We do things as a family still, whether it's a family dinner or just all the girls going to get their nails done or something. That
cruise.
We did a big family cruise. We're actually in the process of planning another family vacation right now, which means that we're working on that, but we're also able to take a little time away. And so we may have conversations about real estate while we're getting our nails done or whatever it is, but it just is a great relationship. I would say that probably we talk to each other at least once a day, except for this year. That's changed a little bit when I've been traveling, because, I may be in a different time zone or whatever, so it may be just a little text or something like that to stay in touch and keep our business going. But that is exactly what we do. Sheila says, I think that because you guys have different strengths, you're able to be a complete team. Reminds me of someone else I know, Kristen. Absolutely. I think that we bounce off of each other. Where I am weak, like I don't like paper files, she loves the paper files is in our business. So I think that that's absolutely true. And like where I love the marketing aspect, she does not love the marketing aspect, and she lets me handle that. So it's absolutely true. And in a team, I would recommend, it doesn't have to be necessarily a mother-daughter team or whatever, but you need to find all those counterparts that fit well together.
I think that's true. It's just like we meet every week, if possible. Sometimes we can't, but if we can meet, then everybody, including Lisa, is up to date. Everything goes into Dropbox. So I was in Florida last week. I could pull something up. And that's the whole key, is being able to get away and still work.
And we stay in sync. If you can't tell, we're basically dressed almost identical today, and we didn't plan that. She showed up, and I was already dressed, and we were like, okay. So we do work together like that. Wonderful to know that working together has enriched and enhanced your lives and your business. Women's Council. Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about Women's Council. So I got started in Women's Council because she was involved in Women's Council. So tell me, how did you get involved in Women's Council?
When I first went to work for my first broker, the manager said, come dressed tomorrow, we're going to a luncheon. Okay, so I did. We went to the luncheon. I thought I was supposed to do that. And then a few months later, Belinda called and said, hey, I think we could get along traveling together. Would you be president-elect? That really shocked me, but I did. And the bond that I have with her and others throughout the years with Women's Council is so strong. Those relationships are closer than sometimes family. and we stay in touch. We can't wait till we get to the state meetings with the ones that live away. I went up to governor when I was in Women's Council, and it's an organization that I fully believe in. And Sylvia just kind of came dragging into it with me when she couldn't even join. She was still on committees and doing things.
Okay, I see we have some other questions popping up. I'm going to show a quick picture. This is, I could not find, let's see if I can get the lighting right. Maybe not. Camera, lighting. This is her outgoing, it's actually bad picture quality, outgoing installation. So she had just completed her year as president, and you can see that I am very pregnant in this picture with Chase, my now 17-year-old, about to start his senior year. So couldn't find one of when she was installed, but there was that one for her outgoing. Couple questions. What's the hardest part of a mother-daughter team? And that's from Stacy in Arizona. And Stacy actually just started a mother-daughter team. She's the mother part. So what would your advice be to her as the mother?
I think it's really important to discuss. Keep that line of communication open. It works much better when you make the decisions together. Sylvia and I bounce things off of each other all the time, and Lisa. And we can sit and they come up with ideas that are more techy, the marketing, the pop buys, things that we work on for our clients. And I think that has really helped us. Just that communication is number one. I think whether it's mother-daughter or whether it's just another team.
Absolutely, communication. It's not all been roses. There's been times that one or the other of us made a decision that the other didn't agree with, and we went down that rabbit hole, and it didn't turn out to be good. It needs to be a decision that you both come to consensus on, and communication is a big part of that, making sure everyone's on the same page. So I would definitely recommend that. I just can't say communication enough. I mean, you need to be talking, whether you see each other or not, you need to be talking every day to know where everyone is on that. We have another question. Communication is key. Absolutely, Amy. Amy's like an extension to our team when we're gone. Yeah. So that's absolutely true.
Another daughter.
And I know that Women's Council has helped each of you grow as people, but has it helped your bottom line in business? Absolutely. This week, I just got my 4th referral from Women's Council in Arizona. It's very pinpointed to a certain region right now that I am seeing lots of influx. And so if 4 referrals, 3 have closed, which is probably $20,000 to our bottom line. To me, that absolutely is worth it. So if you just want to talk about the numbers speak for themselves, and absolutely it has affected our bottom line. We are not a type of real estate team. It's not our model to go off of leads that we get on Facebook and all that. We do engage with them, but the crux of our business is referrals, and that's referrals from either, other Women's Council people, that's from, people we know, past clients, all of that. So we prefer to work with people we know. For example, last year we had 1 transaction that was not a result of someone that we had a relationship with. So that's huge. To me, that's huge. And also, we are both women, and we don't want to be working with a lot of people that we don't know. Of course, we're in Texas, so you never know who might be packing a gun. But we like having that comfort of knowing the people. I have a great example. I went to high school with someone. We connected on Facebook. She lived across town. I could, of course, service her, but I did not want to because I could not give her the service that she needed. So I referred it to someone. So they sold their house. That was 1 transaction. They came to me and they bought a house. That was another transaction. We stayed in touch with them because we had successful business with them. So we then she referred us to a friend. sold that friend a house. That friend then referred us to her sister. Her sister sold her house and bought another house. So now we're up to 5 transactions that lead back to this one person. And then her sister, as soon as she closed on her house, referred us to another person that we sold a house to. So all of that 6 transactions are a result of one person. So a huge part of our business model is making sure that we stay in touch with these people. We do pop buys every single month. I know that Kristen and Sheila are very big on pop buys too, because we share a lot of ideas and we bounce them back and forth off of each other. But that has been key in our business. Absolutely. I think that if there's anything we do right, that's probably one of the best things we do right in this business. I don't even remember what we were talking about. I got off on a tangent. I know we have a couple more questions. Yes, less chance of us getting murdered with referrals. Absolutely, Kristen. Let me see. I saw a long one up here. Quincy asked, this is for you, I'm guessing. Gail, I have learned from watching Sylvia's videos that she has gotten her start with Women's Council by following in your footsteps. Here we are today witnessing Sylvia's campaigning for national treasurer of this great organization. Tell us, in your opinion, what makes her the best person for this position, as well as a future president of Women's Council.
Good question. Sylvia, I think, is very open. She's very organized. She works well with people. She teaches them to lead and brings out the best in people versus just promoting herself. And I think that's a big part of what she is, who she is, and how she works. She's got the technology to help move the network forward into the future. And I think she can do a fabulous job. And I think you should vote for her. I can't.
Quincy actually can't vote, but there are other people that can vote. So I hope that answers your question. Quincy, we have another question. Why would someone join Women's Council? And actually, I know it's not really a canned answer because it's actually absolutely the truth, but I don't know what your answer would be. Why would you encourage someone to join Women's Council?
I have seen professional growth, personal growth, so much that I can relate back to Women's Council, and we learned so much holding a meeting. I went on to be president of Garland Habitat.
Opened your own brokerage.
Opened my own brokerage, yes. And so it's those kind of things that the encouragement you get and the things that we learn from helping each other. And like I said earlier, the relationships that you build cannot compare to the ones that you have with Women's Council. If you just show up and do nothing, you're not going to get very much out of it. But if you get involved helping other people achieve what they want, then you're going to get what you want.
Absolutely. There's lots of reasons I found that people join Women's Council. The hardest one that was a lesson for me was that some people join just for their resume, and I didn't understand that. But once I acknowledged that some people just want to be resume members, and that's okay. They're not getting the full benefit of the council, absolutely. Other people join for different reasons. The education, we have a designation, all different kinds of education, the speakers that come and all of that. Some people join for the leadership. They have learned how to be leaders. That's probably one of the biggest things that I learned watching her in Women's Council. I watched the most timid person get up and lead a meeting, and I knew that she was shaking, and I watched that transformation over the year, and then as she moved up in leadership, and I saw this organization pull something out of her that I don't think she knew she had. I didn't know she had it. I just saw that leadership, and I remember watching her and thinking, I want to find out what I can be. Like, what can I be that I don't even know that exists out there? So that's that's a huge percentage of why Women's Council for people. For me, it's the relationships. I have sisters across this organization. She mentioned Belinda earlier. Belinda is like my aunt. They are like sisters. If there were anything that were ever to go wrong or I needed anything, Belinda would be one of the very first phone calls I made, because if I couldn't do something, Belinda would be there in a heartbeat and do it. She's more than a fellow realtor. She's not a competitor. She would never be a competitor. She helps complete us as a family and as an extended team. We have great ideas that we even bounce off of her and back and forth. And there's been, even though she lives right here in our area, we've discussed all kinds of things that have helped grow our business and helped grow her business, because that's Women's Council. We're constantly helping each other grow and become a better version of ourselves. So for me, it's absolutely the relationships, because I feel like I could plan a trip to anywhere in the nation and pick up a phone and say, hey, blah, 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 and I actually have done this, so I'm going on a family vacation. I have 2 boys, and at the time, I think they were like 5 and 7. I don't know why we picked this place, but we're going here. Where would you suggest we stay? What would you suggest we do? There was absolutely no monetary value for that person, that other fellow Women's Council member, to pick up the phone, but other than the fact of they were helping a Women's Council sister out. So that's Women's Council. It's all about the relationships. And I see we have a couple more questions that popped up, Sony. How would you engage the national affiliate members? I guess, Pam, I see your comment, and the first thing I would suggest doing to engage a national affiliate is finding out, what does that national affiliate want? Is that national affiliate just wanting some recognition? Because as we're transitioning to strategic partners across the nation, if they're just needing the advertising and they want that opportunity, then I would probably encourage them to look into being a strategic partner versus a national affiliate. But if they are wanting the potential to serve and be one of the leaders, then that's something different, and they would need to remain a national affiliate. So I think there's different opportunities, and it depends on that conversation. I actually don't know offhand where you're from, but I'm happy to have this conversation with you later and see exactly what you are looking for from Women's Council and help you get moving in the right direction. So if you want to, message me or call me later, I think that we could have a one-on-one conversation, and let me ask you a couple questions, and let's see if we can get you what you're looking for Women's Council. Do you have a comment on that, or about affiliate members?
Yes, everybody joins for different reasons, and it just depends on what they're what they want or need from it. And I think that's the best way, is just to visit with them and find out. The more you learn about somebody, the better you can help them, and the better you can help yourself. Because we all have to know how to deal with the new generations, because we're all different. But we can all find out how to work together. And I think that's the main thing, because I have all ages of clients, and they all are looking for something different.
Absolutely. Let's see. One of the best things I did was join when you're brand new to the industry. I agree. I mean, you learn so much from Women's Council. She said earlier, like budgeting and running a meeting and starting on time and ending on time. Several of our associations could learn from Women's Council, and they have. A lot of leaders come from Women's Council and go the association route, and they learn how to lead.
Speaking of that, I think it's really interesting the number of people who have gone on to do other things once they've gone through Women's Council and been a local president or something. We've had mayors. We've had all types of people in different vocations that got their start with Women's Council, and you can too.
I like that. Okay, I'd like to know, specifically, what changes do you think need to happen at national, and what do you think you can do about that as national treasurer? So obviously that's a question for me. I think that we have been moving. You have to think National Women's Council is like a huge cruise ship. You can't just, you know, pull a U-turn on a cruise ship because it would break in half. But in the past few years, as I've been on executive committee, we actually did pull that U-turn. We, you know, a couple years ago took out basically the whole state of California as a beta test for our new network model. It was a pretty scary test when you think about it. I actually had the privilege of sitting on that task force that developed the new system, and I know when I got back to Texas, because that happened to be right before a big Texas state meeting, and a lot of the Texas leaders were like, why California? Why do they get picked? Why not Texas? And my answer to them was, this potentially could destroy a state. Do you want that state to be Texas? And then they kind of changed their tune. They were like, no, absolutely not. Let's take California down. And absolutely, California did not go down by any means, but whenever you try something new and different, it always has that potential. And we listened to what the members in California said. We tweaked the model, changed it a little bit, gave them what they were wanting. And I think we have now a great new process. The changes at national that need to take place, we needed for years to revamp the chapter system. I know many people don't believe that because that's all they know and change is scary. But we can't keep acting out of fear. And so we are moving forward with this across the nation. I've been teaching this across the nation, and it's an exciting time for the council. It's an exciting time to be anything, even like a local president. Absolutely exciting. The scary part in that is I think a lot of the past presidents or people that have been members for 20 years don't understand. They don't know what's happening. And it's not that they are afraid of the change. They just know what they've always known. And so I've seen networks having a little bit of resistance to the change. Even in my own network, I've had a past president tell me, we don't want this. This is the stupidest thing ever. And I was like, actually, it's not. Let's have a conversation. It's a great thing for the council. So we are moving in the right direction. We're taking little strides. This is a massive stride, actually. And so we will continue to see little changes at national over the next couple years, but I don't think you will see anything crazy drastic like you're seeing right now, because we have to monitor what's going on. The biggest things that we need from the national level are support. Right now, our states, the crux of this new model, as Sheila, as incoming president, I know you know this, is resting on the states because they need to monitor it and help where needed. So I think as a nation, as national leaders, we need to be there, absolute support, hand-holding with the state leaders, because the success of this depends on the state support. So absolutely we need to do that. I think that the states have had that support. I think we've been giving more support, giving more tools and all of that to help. But I believe I can do that as national treasurer and implement a little bit of change. You know, so many things don't need to be done the way they've always been done. Like just little Facebook Live videos like this talking about whatever topic it is, easy, free, and can help people move their business in the right direction. Because you have to remember, at the end of the day, everything we do in Women's Council should also be able to be applied in not only just our business, but our personal life. You better believe I am a much better mother because of Women's Council. It has taught me how to negotiate with my teenagers. Women's Council just makes you a better person all in all. And so we are moving in the right direction, absolutely.
I think Women's Council is a great move because of the training that we get. And it's much, much easier when you're doing a deal with somebody from Women's Council, because typically they have more education. They're up to date on contracts, and you don't get outdated information. So I think that's just another reason that it's so great with Women's Council.
Okay, I know we're getting on up there on time, and we have a couple quick tips that we do want to leave y'all with. If you have any other questions, we'll absolutely answer them. But we want you to definitely get something out of this session. It was kind of hard to plan this session because we didn't know what everyone wanted. But so we just tried to give you things, but we will be here to monitor the questions that come in even after this is off and it's not live anymore, and as well as what's happening in the next few minutes. So our quick tips, listing success. What's your number one tip for listings?
I think you have to take control when you go in on a listing appointment. And if something needs to be done, it's hard in the beginning, but you get to where you're a little bit tougher skinned, and you can let them know, this house is not going to sell if we don't take care of this, or we need to declutter, whatever it is. If it needs to be painted, there's rotten wood, be upfront, tell them, this is not going to get you an FHA loan. So I think just being honest with them, don't tell them they can get XYZ dollars when you know they're going to get ABC. Just be truthful with them, and that shows.
Okay, totally agree with all of that. My top strategy would be the more you do beforehand, the easier the transaction is going to be. I know that actually Mom taught me this, and never put an incomplete listing in MLS because it's just going to create more problems. And I take that a step further. I mean, all my Facebook marketing is done, all my my professional photos are done, and get them back and everything before we go live. For me, it's all about the marketing. This year, we've actually been very successful. We've had our marketing down to a almost science, where we would order pictures and do everything from seller's disclosure, all of that beforehand. And I'll just tell you what our strategy was. We would go active on the market. Remember, we're in North Texas, and just over about 18 months ago, we had a tornado come through and take out about 1,000 homes in our area. So that on top of our thriving market, we have less than a month inventory all over North Texas. So things are selling very fast, whether we had anything to do with it or not, honestly. But that doesn't mean that we put less work into it. So we would do everything beforehand. We would go active on a Thursday, late Thursday. We would basically tell our sellers to move out for the weekend because it would be a revolving door, and it was. The ones that listened to us were very happy. The ones that didn't usually were leaving by about 9 a.m. on Saturday morning because they were sick of the phones. They were like, we're going out of town. We'll be back on Sunday. And then Sunday, we would typically present multiple offers. So that was that's my big listing success, is it was basically do all the work ahead of time so that you could just have all of these offers brought into you. It had its best version of itself out there before it even went live.
We have about 2,500 people moving to the Metroplex every week. And that is the reason we have such a low inventory. Everybody is pouncing on a new house on the market.
Absolutely. Okay, relationship building. What's your number one tip on relationship building? I think we talked a lot about relationships, but
staying in touch, letting them know, if you see something, make a comment if you're on Facebook or whatever about the kids or whatever they've got going in their life. But just staying in touch keeps you forefront out there. So if they're in a conversation about somebody buying or selling, they're going to refer it to you because you're on top of it.
I definitely agree. I build more relationships on Facebook than anything because it's very easy to engage with someone in their life. But my number one tip, whether it's online or in person, is to be truly authentically yourself. No one can be you better than you. And so just be yourself. Be who you are. For me, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, and you will see all of that on Facebook. Very rarely you actually see a lot of real estate on my personal Facebook page. It's just if I'm sharing something or whatever, because I wear all these other hats of the roles I play and I just happen to sell real estate. I'm not real estate first, and I think that my friends respect that, and I think that's why I get more business. So you don't have to be all real estate queen to get business. Huge percentage of our business comes from Facebook. So I don't know if it's the right model or the wrong model, but it's working for us. Okay, recruiting. You want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay. So recruiting, a lot of people could think recruiting would be, recruiting agents for our company. We are not actively doing that, although we really would like a buyer's agent. So, by the way, if you know anyone looking to be a buyer's agent, we would love one. But for me, recruiting is just recruiting your fans. We have raving fans. Like I told you, we had 6 transactions responsible from one person. It's all about recruiting those people. I talked about our pop buys that we do and staying top of mind, whether that's making a phone call or sending them a text or a video, whatever it is, and engaging them, being intent on engaging them. We have a list of, it fluctuates from about 20 people to 25 people that we actively market to. And these are past clients or people that send us a lot of business. Actually, not even talking about women's council right now, but you could also do that in women's council. Choose your people that you want to target and start recruiting them. Doing the same thing, engaging with them, inviting them to, I know there's a big member mixer tonight in the area. So inviting them, start talking about women's council, introducing them to other women's council people. So what do you have about recruiting?
I think everything you said is true. It's just helping people get what they want. And as long as you're doing that, you're going to get what you want as well.
Absolutely. It reminds me of this weekend when I was in Chicago. I told a bunch of leaders, if you will write down this question and just always ask this question, you will be successful. And the question is, how can I help you be successful? Because if you find out, exactly like as Pam was asking earlier about national affiliates, if I can find out what she's wanting, how I can make her successful, I can help her be successful, which will in turn make me successful. It's a lot of give and a little of take in women's council, but that's what makes us successful because we're always willing to help each other out. Okay, obtaining referrals. Kind of goes along with what I said about recruiting, but
it does. I have a lot of designations. I get quite a few CRS referrals, certified residential specialists, and I encourage new agents when they start out, go after those designations. You're getting your credit and you're also obtaining something. And that's a whole database of people that you can work with.
Absolutely. I know when I first started doing the, let's just call it the Women's Council thing, when I drank the Kool-Aid and started going to the national meetings, she had been to national meetings long before I had been. And when I came back, she was like, okay, where's all the cards you got? And I would like have a stack of business cards. She's like, now you need to write all of them a letter or a little note card. And I was like, what? No, I don't know. I don't want to do that. And whereas for her, that really worked. And she might have written a few note cards and signed my name to them in the past. But for me, it was easier to take that relationship on Facebook and engage. And that's how I get referrals. I mentioned earlier I had 4 from Arizona this year. 3 of them came from one person. And I actually met that person one time, and at a national meeting. We kind of hit it off. I introduced her to a few friends, and she happened to be flying through Dallas about a year and a half ago, something like that. Happened to message me and said, hey, I have like, I don't know, something like a 4-hour layover or something. Do you want to meet up? I said, sure. I happened to work. met up with her, and here, like, year and a half, 2 years later, she's sent me 3 referrals because I'm top of mind. It's the little bitty things that you can do that make a big difference. So, anything else you want to leave everybody with, Mom?
Vote for Sylvia in November.
Perfect. So we will be signing off. We'll stick around a little bit. We'll be able to answer any questions you have. Join me next month for my next Facebook Live session. I don't have the date in front of me. It's like September 8th or 9th. And we're going to talk more specifically about mentoring. And I'm going to have some special guests in there that will be joining me. I probably will not be Mom next time. It will be at our state meeting, and we're going to have some different leaders from our state join in and talk about mentoring and an exchange of value. It's not necessarily mentoring because I think a lot of times when you use the word mentoring, you think that there's a mentor and a mentee, but really it's an exchange of value, just as I think we've probably shown you that we here, the two of us, have different skill sets that we bounce off of one another, so it makes us successful. And it's the same thing within, other women's council. I know I get great ideas from other people, and they get great ideas from me it's a different exchange of value. So join me next month, and I will be sure and send out invitations with all of that, and we look forward to seeing you online. Thanks and have a great day.